you've been receiving messages your whole life. That sudden knowing when someone's about to call. That image that flashes through your mind right before something happens. The feeling in you that tells you to take a different route home. Most people dismiss these as coincidence or imagination. But what if they are actually a sophisticated communication system you were born with? What if your mind has been trying to show you things, tell you things, help you know things, and you just didn't realize you were fluent in this hidden language? Today we are exploring the 8 types of clair-senses, your natural psychic abilities. By the end, you will understand which ones you already use and how to recognize when they're speaking to you. Before we continue, if you're ready to break free from the repeating patterns that hold you back, check out my free guide, 5 inner blocks that keep you from deep spiritual growth. The link is waiting for you in the top comment below. The first 4 clair-senses happen entirely in your mind. This is where most people first notice their psychic abilities because they feel familiar, almost like enhanced versions of how you already think and process information. Clairvoyance means clear seeing. This is mental images that can be either symbolic or literal. And here's the tricky part. It's often impossible to know which you are receiving in the moment. You might see a red rose and think it means love, but later discover someone's grandmother was named Rose. Or you might see a car accident and assume it's symbolic of life changes, only to learn it was showing you exactly what would happen on tomorrow's commute. These images usually appear in your mind's eye, the same space where you visualize when someone asks you to picture your childhood bedroom. Some people see them as clear as photographs. Others get quick flashes or shadowy impressions. There is no right way for clairvoyance to show up. Clairaudience is clear hearing. Sounds, words, or voices heard mentally like a song playing in your head, but distinctly not your thoughts. This isn't hearing voices externally. It's more like when you can't get the song out of your head, except instead of lyrics you might hear a name, a date, or even full sentences. Or you might hear someone call your name. Here is what makes clairaudience unique. It actually goes through the audio processing centers of your brain. Your physical ears aren't hearing anything, but your brain processes the information as if you're hearing sound. It feels like genuine audio, voices, music, or words that seem to come through your inner ear. This isn't about thoughts at all. It's your brain's auditory system responding to psychic information the same way it would respond to actual sound waves. Clairsentience is clear feeling, sensing emotions, energy, or physical sensations that aren't your own. This is probably the most common clair sense, which is why it's often overlooked. When you walk into a room and feel something's off, that's clairsentience. When you meet someone new and immediately feel their sadness, even though they're smiling, clairsentience again. The challenge with clairsentience is learning what belongs to you versus what you're picking up from others. Highly sensitive people often struggle with this. They absorb everyone's emotions without realizing it. But once you understand you're feeling someone else's energy, you can learn to distinguish it from your own feelings. Claircognizance is clear knowing. sudden knowledge that appears in your mind without logical explanation. This is the download experience. You're talking to someone and suddenly you just know their dog's name is Max, even though they never mentioned having a dog. Or you wake up one morning absolutely certain you need to take a different route to work with no logical reason why. Claircognizance requires the most trust because there's no sensory experience to validate it. With clairvoyance you see something, with clairaudience you hear something, but claircognizance is pure knowing, and your logical mind will immediately start questioning where that information came from. The key is to learning to trust that first hit of knowing before your analytical mind kicks in. These four mental clair-senses work together as your inner guidance system. Most people have one that's stronger and more reliable than the others, but you're not limited to just one. Pay attention to which of these feel most familiar as we continue. The next four clear senses move beyond your mind into your physical senses. These are sometimes more startling when they happen because they feel so real. And that's because they are real, just not in the way you'd expect. Clairalience is clear smelling, perceiving scents that have no physical source. This one catches people off guard. You're sitting in your living room and suddenly smell your grandmother's perfume, even though she passed away years ago. Or you walk into an empty house and smell fresh baked cookies when there's nothing in the oven. These aren't imagined scents. Your olfactory system is actually responding as if the smell is present. The difference is the source. Instead of molecules hitting your nose, the information is coming through your psychic senses and triggering the same neural pathways. Your brain processes it exactly the same way it would a physical smell. People often experience clairalience as validation from loved ones who have passed. The distinctive cologne your father wore, the cigarette smoke that reminds you of your uncle, or smells that are associated with specific people or places, including ones who are still living. These scents can carry emotional information and memories that can be more powerful than words. Clairgustance is clear tasting, experiencing flavors without anything in your mouth. Like clairalience, this triggers your actual taste buds. You might suddenly taste chocolate cake and later discover it was your deceased mother's favorite recipe. Or you could taste something bitter right before receiving difficult news, as if your psychic senses are giving you a preview of how the information will feel. This clear sense often works in partnership with clairalience, since smell and taste are so closely connected. Together they can provide rich, detailed information about people, places, or situations. Some mediums rely heavily on these senses to identify spirits or understand the messages being communicated. Clairtangency, also called psychometry, is clear touching, receiving information through physical contact with objects. This is different from the other clear senses because it requires actual physical interaction. You pick up a piece of jewelry and suddenly know about its previous owner. You touch the walls of an old building and sense the emotions of people who lived there decades ago. Objects hold energetic imprints of the people who owned them and the events that happened around them. Someone with strong clairtangency can read these imprints like a book. They might hold a photograph and feel the photographer's mood when it was taken, or touch a piece of furniture and sense the family dynamics of the home it came from. Clairempathy goes beyond regular empathy. It's feeling others' emotions as if they were your own, even across great distances. This isn't just being sensitive to the people around you. A clair empath might suddenly feel overwhelming sadness and later discover their friend across the country was going through a difficult time at that exact moment. The challenge with clair empathy is the same as with clairsentience, learning to distinguish what's yours from what belongs to others. But clair empathy is more intense and can be more disruptive to daily life. People with strong clair empathy often feel emotionally exhausted because they're constantly processing feelings that aren't their own. These sensory clair senses can feel more invasive than the mental ones because they use your body's actual sensory systems, but they're also incredibly validating because they feel so real and immediate. Here is what most people don't realize. Your clair senses rarely work in isolation. They're more like instruments in an orchestra, each contributing to a complete symphony of information. Think about the last time you had a really strong feeling about something. It probably wasn't just clairsentience. You might have also seen a quick mental image that you dismissed, heard a phrase that seemed random, or even smelled something that reminded you of a similar situation. Your psychic senses were all firing at once, trying to get your attention through multiple channels. Most people have one dominant clair sense, their psychic first language, but the others are usually active too, just more quietly. Someone who's primarily clairvoyant might see images first, but they also get confirming feelings, certain knowing, or even phantom smells related to what they're seeing. This is why developing your psychic abilities isn't about picking one clair sense and ignoring the others. It's about learning to recognize the full conversation that's always happening. When you start paying attention to all 8 types, you notice how they support and validate each other. For example, you might get a clairvoyant image of water, feel clairsentially that someone is sad, and suddenly know through claircognizance that a friend is crying. Later you discover they were having a difficult day by their pool. Each clair senses contributed a piece of the puzzle. The more you acknowledge all your clair senses, the stronger and clearer they become. It's like tuning up the volume on a conversation that was always happening. You just couldn't hear it clearly before. Some people worry that developing their psychic abilities will make them too sensitive or overwhelmed, but the opposite is usually true. When you understand what you're receiving and where it's coming from, you gain control over the experience. You can learn to tune in when you want information and create boundaries when you need space. Having those highly refined but subtle senses is not something mystical or rare. It's as natural as having good eyesight or perfect pitch. Some people are born with stronger abilities, others can develop them with practice. But everyone has access to the psychic capacity. Before we wrap up, if you found this helpful and want to go deeper, remember that free download I mentioned, 5 inner blocks that keep you from deep spiritual growth. The link is waiting for you in the top comment below. You always had this inner guidance system. Now you have the reference and understanding that these are natural abilities everyone has access to if they wish. Start paying attention to these moments when you just know something. When images flash through your mind, or when you feel energy that doesn't belong to you. Notice the phantom smells, the sudden tastes, the information you get from touching objects, and the emotions you pick up from others. Which of these 8 feels most familiar? That is your starting point for developing a conscious relationship with your hidden abilities.